I'm Judy Stiles. Thank you for joining us this week on Newsmakers. Our focus this week is childcare, and a lot of people have children, have concerns about how to find quality childcare, and specifically we're looking at Head Start and early Head Start programs. Joining me today, I have Kathy Miller and Michael Greene. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
And Kathy, you are an area supervisor with the program. If someone walks up to you and says, well, what is Head Start and early Head Start? How do you define that for them?
Well, I define that as the difference between the two programs is early Head Start. We provide services for children birth to 3, and that also includes pregnant moms. And then Head Start, we provide services for children aged 3 to 5.
Okay, so there's an age difference between the two different groups and so forth.
Yes.
And Michael, you're joining us today as a parent.
I am indeed a parent.
So tell me about your role, how he's involved with you and through the Head Start program.
Michael was our very first enrolled parent at our new location in Lamar, in our early Head Start site. And he is enrolled he's in high school. He and his baby's mom is still enrolled in high school. And when I met them, they were just so ready to be enrolled in our program and to get all of the benefits from our program. The great thing about the early Head Start site in Lamar is it's located right next door to the high school.
Okay.
So that allows them to be able to come over and check on their baby during the day, to see how he's doing and to just be involved in that program.
So Michael, it sounds like this program really fit a need, what you were looking for.
And especially, you know, when I'm at school and things of that nature, I know that my kid's in a safe environment and things like that.
So tell us about your child. How old he is?
So my son is 6 months, just turned 6 months on April 1st, which is a good, you know, Easter and April Fool's, so.
So getting to be an active age for you.
Yeah.
But having a child care facility like this close by, but also knowing the type of care. Tell me about how they provide care for your child.
You know, they treat him good, they feed him well, and I know that he's always protected at any time of day. But I know if I ever do need to come, I can just come right across the street. But now that I work there, it's a lot better. So
explain to me the work aspect, how he's working with you.
So I recently had a position open, and Michael approached me about it, and he said, I want that job. And I said, you know how to cook? And he said, well, of course I know how to cook. And he quickly labeled the kitchen right above it. It's
Most
labeled
definitely.
Michael's Kitchen. Michael has already joined the Marines and will quickly leave us. But for this little bit of time, he's a cook. He's a teacher aide, and he's a parent. So
you are very involved with
he's
this.
very
definitely.
So you get to see not only your child, but all the other children and the parents.
Yeah, and I love the way that my son interacts with all of them, and I love the way that the children interact with him.
So is the social aspect really important for the children?
It really is, because when I walk in with them, I can tell that they're happy to see him.
And so the type of activities that you do for the infants, the youngers, explain the younger children what you do for that.
It's amazing. They have a very structured day. They have the teachers complete a lesson plan for the day. So even the youngest of babies, they have goals that they're going to meet that day. They have activities. They brush their teeth. They just constant learning, and it's. And Michael gets to see the benefit of his child's there 8 hours a day and is being taught in those 8 hours. It's not just that we're providing child care, but we're making sure that his son is meeting those milestones and teaching him how to do those things with him as well.
So you've seen your child or your son really develop through this program.
A lot, actually. So one day I came home and I went to sit him down. And I turned my head for at least 2 seconds. Next thing you know, he's on his stomach trying to crawl. I'm like, wow, this is amazing.
So is there a lot of interaction with parents on the program where you're sharing what you see and vice versa?
Yes. It is indeed.
So when you see those milestones happening, it happens whether it's happening at the center or at the home, you come in and say, guess what happened last night?
Yes, I do. And the other night, here's another example. I went to sit him down, and he just sat there. Didn't fall. I'm like, oh my God. This is amazing.
So the motor skills, everything that are falling in place with child development coming together.
And Michael is very vocal about how in love he is with our program. He was our first high school student that we enrolled, but now we have 3 high school students enrolled in our program.
So you become kind of an advocate for the other students and
Yes,
saying, hey, it's working for me.
It is, and kind of makes me like a role model to make it, make it look like they're on the right path, and it's actually working. So.
Great. And of course, your ultimate goal is down that continued road to success.
Yes, indeed.
So, and then you have, of course, you talk about the early childhood. Then can they transition then on to the regular program?
Yes, when they turn 3, they transition into regular Head Start.
Well, Michael, as a parent, you're involved, as you mentioned, on the work side and the cooking side. And people are curious, so how many meals do they get there? How do you preparing foods?
There's breakfast, lunch, and then we give them a snack. So I'm mainly in the kitchen, but when I'm not in the kitchen, I'm out there interacting with the kids.
So you get to interact just not only with your child, but with the others as a group.
And it's actually a wonderful feeling.
And you're one of a number of staff members. You have a number of staff members at each of the center.
Yes, at Lamar we have 5 staff.
Great. So the program development is based on, of course, I know an application process that people have to go through. Were you excited when you were accepted into the program?
Yes, and I was definitely excited when I found out that we were the first ones accepted.
So throughout the region, I know we have a regional approach. We're going to have other representatives for the area as well. So each center has its own setup as far as the number of people students you can handle and so forth. Is that correct?
Correct. We have an enrollment number at each center, and at this site that Michael is involved in, we have 8.
Great, great. So working together for the future. Well, she mentioned you're going to head off to the Marines, so that's a big
Yes,
step for you. And
it is, and I'm actually super excited but super nervous at the same time.
So do you feel that but what you're seeing with your son in this care center now, that they're going to continue to provide quality care even while you're serving their country?
Yeah, I actually have no worries at all.
So, and what do you see in other parents that come in and work with the children, whether they're youngsters or the older ones?
We Head Start and Early Head Start certainly encourages parent involvement for this reason, because if we can teach parents how to be a little bit better, or what even is developmentally appropriate for this child, then we're successful.
And I've heard a lot of people say, when you have a child, you leave the hospital with the baby, there's no instruction book. It's like, you take your child.
You learn as you go, and for the most part, I'm learning the right ways, for sure.
So what they're doing at the center is reinforcing what you can do as a parent.
Yes, most definitely.
Tying that together. Well, great. Well, so if someone were to come up and ask you, why should I get involved? Another parent, maybe a young parent as well, say, why should I look at joining or try to get my child into the centers? What would you say to them?
Well, I would tell them that it's always times for new things, and you enroll them and you see how you like it. If not, then we most definitely understand, and you just go on from there.
Okay, so give it a try, and you see a lot of success stories then through that program.
Yes.
And tying that together. Well, I know we have some others who are going to join us on the program as we look around the region and the services. I'd like to thank both of you for joining me on this first part of the program. And I know your son had to leave the set, was here earlier before we started, so I hope you get to enjoy the rest of the day with him.
Oh yeah, I will.
All right, thank you very much.
You.
And stay tuned, we'll be back with more right after this.
What's up, Rory?
Hey, Robert. I thought you might want to give that game a rest and get outside for a bit.
Wow, this is great. Thanks, Rory.
The real adventure is lived in real life.
Welcome back to the program. We're visiting with 2 more area supervisors, Becky Briggs and Greta Murphy. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
And as I mentioned in the first part of the program, each person is representing their region or their area that they're working with. So, Greta, I'll let you explain. People say, well, where do you work? Which areas do you represent?
Okay, I have the Webb City Head Start, the Neosho Head Start, and the Sir Coxey Head Start, and getting ready to open one in Midtown in Joplin on Illinois Street.
Okay, so one coming soon, as they
Yes,
say.
very soon.
Tell me about your areas.
My area is McDonald County. I have an Anderson Head Start Center and an Early Head Start Center, Knoll Head Start and Early Head Start, Southwest City Early Head Start, and Longview Head Start.
Great. Of course, all those are kind of within our broadcast region, so if people are watching, they'll learn about their centers. And each center is kind of unique as far as the number of children you work with. Is that correct? How are the numbers as far as the facilities that you have then?
Well, in Sarcoxy, there's only 16 kids in that center. It's a relatively small center. And then in Neosho, I have 3 classrooms of Head Start, which are about 15 and 16 kids. And then I have 4 early Head Start. And then in Webb City, right now, I have 3 classrooms of about 16, 17 kids in that center. And then at Midtown, when we get that open, I will have 2 Head Start centers, but it's going to be a little bit different. And then we'll have 3 classrooms of early Head Start.
Okay, so it kind of depends on the community and their needs. And tell me about south of here.
Well, in McDonald County, our centers pretty much follow the population centers. The Anderson Center covers Pineville and Anderson area. Knoll has the Knoll area. Then we have a center out at Longview that has 13 children there. Then we go to the other side of McDonald County and we have a new early Head Start center in Southwest City.
So a good region to cover
Yes,
for the
it
area
is.
that you're working with. So I understand that the early Head Start is actually expanding. It's becoming a little growth in the process.
Yes. At Economic Security, we always want to make sure that our services fulfill the needs of the community. So when we did a community needs assessment, it demonstrated that there was a real need for quality child care for infants and toddlers in our 4-county area. In fact, some of our counties either don't have a licensed facility for infants and toddlers that accept child care subsidy, or there's just one. So with that need and knowing that infant and toddler child care is expensive, $190 to $225 a week, and low-income parents that are going to school or just starting on a job can't afford to pay that. So a lot of times they use family or neighbors or friends, and it would be beneficial to the child and to the family to have a dependable child care that they can go to every day. So currently we had some early Head Start slots, but we had 130 children, infants and children, on our wait list.
So a lot of people wanted to supply and demand. Right?
Yes, and so when this grant was announced, we have a great director, Lisa and Jeff both, and they demonstrated our need, and so we were awarded this grant. So this grant doubles the amount of child care slots for infants and toddlers. It added 74 slots. We're going to be in 10 different locations throughout the 4 counties. We're hiring more people. Our early Head Start centers are high quality centers. The learning environments are rich. They're beautiful centers when you go in and see this little tiny equipment for the infants and toddlers. The grant had money in it for startup cost. So we did construction, and Greta can talk some more about that. She's still in the process of construction. Right. 2 of the centers 2 of the classrooms that I got are open and going. We hope to have all of them going by June 1st and have all 74 of those slots ready to go.
So I imagine you have people waiting for those to be finished, ready to come in.
Yes, yes, we do.
And you have a new one in Joplin. Tell me about that and the process that you're going through to accomplish that.
We are redoing a building over in Joplin. It's at 1102 Illinois. That we will house we'll have 20 kids, early Head Start children, and about 60 Head Start children probably when we get open. Hoping to be open and running by May 15th if everything goes right to get the early Head Start kids in. It'll be a center that'll be open from 7:30 in the morning to 5:30 in the evening. And then when Head Start comes back to school in August, that same hours will apply to them. So those parents will have to be working or going to school to use those slots.
So you're there to kind of work with the parents to meet their schedules. If they have to be at work at 8, they can drop their child off and you can take care of them while they're at work at 8 o'clock in the morning.
That's our hope, yes.
You mentioned the new site in Joplin, and that's also in the case of a demand, that there's a big need in the city of Joplin as well.
Yes, there is a huge need, especially for the infant and toddler classrooms. And then to be able to expand our Head Start classrooms to the 7:30 to 5:30, that would be a great need too. I mean, it would be a great help. We did that several years ago and found it very beneficial. So I'm glad to bring it back. I'm excited to bring it back to the.
Now, is early Head Start year-round? You have the children year-round?
Yes, it's year-round because the parents have to be going to school or working.
Right.
So not only is it their child care, but it's a strong learning environment. Our teachers all have training. We can do assessments on those infants and toddlers. If they're not hitting those milestones, then our teachers can individualize their lesson plans and introduce activities that will help those children work on those skills and progress. We have partnered with several different agencies and programs in the community to get all these locations going. The City of Joplin, Lamar School District, the Knoll Housing Authority, Southwest City Baptist Church, we're in the church there, the Literacy Center in Carthage. So our community is stronger when we all work together.
So it's a collaborative effort in many of these cases, people
yes,
working
and
together.
there are 3 private child care facilities that we have included in this grant. So we have been able to help some private industry as well. Kids Clubhouse, the Friends
of Footprints.
Footprints and Friends, and Erin Yost. She's a home care provider.
Now, in the first part of the program, we had a chance to meet a parent who was actually working at one of the facilities. Are you seeing more of this, opportunities for parents to be involved on the employment side as well?
Oh yes, we love to hire parents. That's one of our goals as we tell our parents, because we let them come in and volunteer in the classrooms, kind of learn the steps of the program. So yes.
And the education aspect, the parents, the communication, as far as they know that you have this, I guess I call it a curriculum or a plan for their, even the very youngsters, of what they're going to be doing while they're there.
Yes. Actually, right now, 89 staff members are either current or former Head Start or early Head Start parents. I'm always tickled when a parent applies, and it's always very gratifying when I interview those parents and I ask, why do you want, why are you applying for this job? Why do you want to work here? And I get the same answer a lot of the time, and it's the parent usually says, Head Start really helped me. They really helped my child. I want to be able to do this for someone else, so I want to come work at Head Start so I can make a difference in someone else's life, like Head Start has done for me.
So giving back to their community, giving back to people that help. And I imagine in the long run you hear from the schools perhaps where these children will end up going to kindergarten and going on to the school districts. And that's kind of the feedback.
Yes, a lot of times we have kindergarten teachers tell us, oh, we can tell when a child's been to Head Start.
So what do you enjoy the most about the program?
I think I like it because the service that we offer to the families is so unique that it helps them be better parents a lot of times. We have parent trainings. We offer a lot of that at evenings or at times that they can come so they can see different things. We do a lot with the parents. They're always welcome in our centers. And it's, when they walk into the public school, a lot of them have came back and said to me, they don't let us in those buildings like you guys let us in, and they appreciate that.
Right, so it's a program not only helping the children, but the family that's involved and so forth. Well, I'd like to thank you both for being on this part of the program, sharing with our audience, and I know we have a few more guests who will be visiting with us as we continue to look at what's happening throughout the region.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
And stay tuned because we'll be back with more right after this.
Hey, give me that back.
Make me! Want it back? Here!
I could have done the same to you, but I chose wiser.
Thanks, Rory.
Bullying shows weakness, not strength. Remember to tell, yell, run, or defend yourself if you have to.
Nobody should get bullied.
That's right, Rachel. That's right.
Hello and welcome back to Newsmakers. We're continuing our look at Head Start and Early Head Start. We have Michelle and Amber and Stephanie joining me here today. Thank you very much for being here. Each of you are area supervisors, so if you can briefly explain for the audience which area you're representing today.
I'm Michelle and I represent North Joplin Head Start and Carl Junction Head Start.
Okay.
I'm Amber. I have the South Joplin Head Start and Early Head Start and Granby Head Start.
And my name's Stephanie, and I am the supervisor of our home visiting program in Early Head Start. So I'm a little different.
A little bit different than having an actual facility that we have involved. Well, we're going to explain a little bit of what all that involves while we're here. I guess let's start off, we've been talking about what Head Start is and how it works. You've had the opportunity to see parents and children, how it benefits them. So tell me what you've observed.
Well, with our Head Start children, services that they get is one, we have high quality educated teachers that are ready to teach. Our children get nutritious meals right there at the center. We're focusing on socialization skills, school readiness, and then that way the children are ready to learn.
Right. So that school readiness is a key concept that we hear a lot about in today's world.
Exactly.
When you get to school, there's no, let's start from scratch in kindergarten. You need to know something before you get there.
Right, exactly.
Tying that together. So you have a lot of different programs involved. You mentioned that you're not necessarily at a facility, but you're helping with a lot of these programs.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that.
Yes. In Early Head Start, we have a home visiting program. We serve prenatal women and families with children 0 to 3 years old. And our goal is just to build those babies' brains and, reach those people that have barriers of maybe bringing their child to childcare. Right. So our home visitors, they go into the home. They help support the parents and help answer all those questions that they may have about parenting. They provide learning experiences and they do that in the child's natural environment. So it's pretty cool the things that they can do.
So, they don't come to you, you go to them.
Exactly.
Working with them and so forth. How do they find you or how do they get involved in this type of visit program?
Well, they can contact any of our offices to talk to a staff person. There's an application process, but our staff are trained in doing it, and so they just need to call us and we'll take it from there.
Now, do you find a lot of parents, perhaps especially parents with the first child, kind of, what do I do? They get overwhelmed sometime. Where do we go from here?
They definitely do.
They do. And we provide a lot of Head Start services to our families. And it, like we have parent night trainings. So we're helping our parents become the advocates for their children, and then that way the parents are able to engage in the children's learning process. So
making a kind of a teamwork effort, obviously.
Right.
You're working with the families and so forth. Well, one thing we haven't covered on this program as far as the topic of eligibility, how does someone get involved, how can they apply? So let's cover some of those bases for people.
What they need to apply is they would need some documentation, and that documentation would be the last calendar year proof of income, or they can use the previous 12 months. We would also need proof of the child's age. So they would bring that in, and what they could do is how they contact us is they can call us at our toll-free number, which is 1-833-718-0352, or they can call our local number, 417-781-0352 at extension 259. They can also visit our website and put Head Start app at ESC-SWA. They can also call one of our centers directly, and they could set up an appointment to come in and do an application that takes very little time, 5 to 10 minutes on that. And they can also visit our website at ESC-SWA.org.
I know we have a computer that might be able to show us the website while we're talking. There's a lot of resources right there for people.
Right.
Yes, there is. Also, we are already doing applications for our next program year. And what a lot of parents do not know is if your child is 2 and will be turning 3 before July 31st, they can go and do an application now for that child.
Okay.
And then that way they'll be already have their application done and can join in for the next program year.
So when you say program year, does it tie along with kind of a school year
Right.
type approach?
Yes, our 2018-2019 year.
So kids go back to school in August, you're starting a program for them in August.
Yes, and they start doing selections the end of April, 1st of May. So they want to go ahead and get in and get their applications done now. So.
What if someone has a question, well, am I even eligible for this program? How do they find out about that?
They can just call and ask, what the eligibility is. A lot of them want to know what the income guidelines are, and we can let them know that right off the. And you don't have to say you're interested in the Head Start program. Early Head Start can do an app for you, take your information and do that. So we all can do apps for each other.
All tie together.
All
help
tie
you
together.
support things.
So if you see one of our centers, you're driving by one of our centers and go, oh, yes, I'm going to stop in there. Please do stop in and just say, hey, I'd like some information on the program. And we'll be glad to help anyone that wants to.
Do you find a lot of parents that maybe refer other parents to the program?
Yes.
That
Oh,
my
yes.
child's there, and why don't you come in too?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my sister told me about this program and she loved it, so I was wanting to come in and get some information on it. So
Great.
we hear that a lot.
Well, I know that you also have a program, Stephanie. You have a bag in front of you. I want you to explain to the audience that this is another aspect of how you're serving the program.
Yes, something cool that Early Head Start is doing in our home-based program in partnership with the Joplin Public Library is we're offering the 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten program, and it's a grant-funded program, and basically what it is any parent that's participating in our program can join, and the home visitors bring these bags along their home
With the
visit,
books?
and there's 5 different books that are in the bags, and so we encourage the parents to log how many times they read the book over a period of time, and there's different milestones that they reach, and when they reach those, then they get to pick a free book for their home library. So it's something pretty cool that we're offering to our home-based families, and we've had some pretty good success with the program. We have about 85% of our Early Head Start families participating in the program. And we actually have one family who, we just started doing this the end of January, and we have one family that has turned in a reading log almost every week. And they just recently reached the 200 book milestone. So that's pretty cool, because when you think about it, 200 books, if you translate that into words, that's tens of thousands of words that those babies are hearing. And so it's pretty cool, pretty
So
powerful.
it's never too early to start reading to your child.
Never.
The babe in arms can still listen to a bedtime story.
Yeah, even if they can't talk, they're still learning those literacy skills. So reading is very important at any age.
Right. And here's an example of where you're working with a local agency, the Joplin Library, to help bring these books into homes. And in today's society, we hear so much more about computers and so forth, but books, good old-fashioned books, are still a good way for children to learn, and tying that together. Well, as you go out into the community, you meet people, what would you say to them as far as the number one reason you would encourage them to get involved in the program? We've talked about applications, some of the things that happen. You know, somebody walks up to you after the program, why should I do this?
They are their child's most important teacher, and that's a strong statement for a parent to know that, you know, I am my child's first and foremost important teacher that they have. So.
What do you tell parents or people when they ask about the program?
Well, what I tell parents is, well, she was talking about the millions of words. You know, we want children to hear 10 million words before they even get into public school. So they're getting a lot of education in our program. Our centers are fun, and we have educated teachers. So, I mean, they're going to learn a lot. And then we're also advocates for and helping our families. We have FRSs that are strong support networks for our families. And, you know, sometimes they need help with things, and that's what we're here for.
It's not just the child, it's the
Right,
family concept
right.
of tying that together. And from the early childhood perspective, it's important to don't hesitate to get involved early with your child as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I feel like we work better as a team, and so we have a lot of people that can provide that support and that information. And, you know, sometimes we have people that come into the program who don't have a whole lot of maybe social support, and so if we can be that social support for them in whatever way they need it, that's what we're here for. So.
Well, I'd like to thank the three of you for visiting with me on this portion of the program today.
Yeah, thank
Very
you.
much.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. And I'd like to thank you, the viewers, for joining us this week. I'm Judy Stiles. I'll see you again next week at the same time on the station.